Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'd like to discuss what's going on with Twitch and admittedly kind of say that I'm happy that I deleted my account there over a year ago. So about a year ago, I deleted my account on Twitch because they started banning people that were some of the first major live streamers on the platform that in my opinion did a lot for public discourse. Like him or hate him, sometimes I like what he has to say, sometimes I disagree. I really like Destiny's content and he's been a regular creator on the platform for a decade, and many of the people that were very excited to see him deleted and got banned were the same people that just a few years ago were cheering when the New York Times was championing him as somebody who de-radicalized people, who went down rabbit holes on YouTube and started to pull them back into normalcy. And it was just a few years later when he said something in the heat of the moment that they didn't like, that they decided, you know what, we're going to throw away over 10 years of good content and good work that you've done because I don't like what you did just there. And when I saw what they did, when I saw how they tried to toss this man's career away, all of his good accomplishments, because of one effing thing, I said, you know what? I don't give a fuck if this website makes me $500 or $1,500 a month. I'm done with it. Screw you. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I deleted my account. And I think that that's what a lot more people are going to start doing here. Now, there are people that are much bigger streamers on Twitch, like Charlie here, who can do a much better job of explaining why what they did is screwed up. And I would suggest you watch his video if you're interested. The TLDR here is that on-stream logos are now limited to 3% of the screen size. Burned-in video ads are not allowed, burned-in display ads are not allowed, and burned-in audio ads are not allowed. Now, I completely understand that most of you hate ads. So you're probably cheering this and saying, yes, Twitch is trying to get rid of the ads. That's a good thing. No, they're not, because they still have ads all over their platform. They're not getting rid of ads. They're saying if you are going to advertise, it has to go through us. And the reason that many people that use Twitch have these types of sponsorships is because they don't get paid enough from random user donations, and they're definitely not making enough from the actual Twitch ads to be able to feel comfortable. But above all, a lot of the events that you see on Twitch, a lot of the things that wind up getting 100,000 live viewers are events that are sponsored by companies that are doing these sponsorships that are literally not going to be allowed anymore under Twitch's new terms. Which means that a lot of these people may not do those events on the platform anymore because they have no way to fund them, which means that Twitch is going to have less viewership. And here's the thing that I think is interesting here. The fact that you're seeing more and more companies that are willing to absolutely shoot themselves in the foot from a PR standpoint really just kind of demonstrates what Eli the computer guy has been talking about for 5 years now, which is a lot of these companies make no financial sense, never made any financial sense, and now that we're no longer in a 0% interest rate environment where you have investors that are willing to just fund BS willy-nilly, they're actually having to show a profit. They actually have to do what the rest of the world has to do, which is spend less than they take in. They can no longer say, look, we made $10 million and gained all these users. I mean, yeah, we spent $20 million to make $10 million, but we have more users. Growth that is based on spending more money than you take in, which again, everybody watching this in their own household needs to make more than they spend. We don't have this luxury. Is it not something that's going to exist going forward? And you have to think about this when it comes to many of these companies. Take a company like Twitter. Everybody took for granted that Twitter is just always going to be around. Well, this is $79 million a year. $500 million, $500 million, $500 million, $500 million, $100 million. Finally made $1 billion and then made $1 billion again, only to lose $1 billion the next year and $250 million the next year. A lot of these companies make no sense. Now, when it comes to YouTube, Alphabet used to publish YouTube's figures, whether or not it actually made money. Around 2014, 2015, they stopped doing that. You only get to see gross revenue now. Twitch is a subsidiary of Amazon. Amazon is a publicly traded company. Amazon does not say publicly whether Twitch has a net profit. It's not included. And here's the thing. If you're a publicly traded company, anytime you do something that adds shareholder value, anytime you're doing something that is making money, you brag about it as much as humanly possible, because bragging about making money is going to cause people to value your company higher. It's going to cause your stock price to go up. It's good for the company and it's good for the executives. It's good for the shareholders. The reason many of these companies are not doing that is because maybe, just maybe, they don't actually make a damn bit of sense. And I think you're going to see more companies that did not make sense for the past 10 years finally start to try and figure out how to make sense now. And they're going to be like somebody who just realized they're underwater and start doing this like crazy because they don't know how to swim, trying to get above water to get a breath of air. Twitch is a company that probably doesn't actually make money. You have to think about it. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot that way? Why would you do something that is going to cause everybody from small beans creators like what I used to be there to people that have millions upon millions of subscribers to say, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm done with this platform? I can't imagine that this is something that's being done because they're going to make an additional 2 or 4% in growth this year. I don't think that you make these types of decisions based on that. I think you make these types of decisions based on, we are not going to survive anymore, so we might as well, if we are going to be going off a cliff, at the very least, I get it that this swerve is going to be dangerous, but I'd rather take the dangerous swerve than just keep driving until we actually go off the cliff kind of thing. And I do wonder if that's what's actually going on here. This is something that I thought as well when I did this video on Reddit. Reddit is killing their brand in the worst possible way. I went over the fact that they are massively hiking the prices of API calls, how this is going to be destroying a lot of third-party applications and moderation tools, and how the threads discussing this have over 159,000 upvotes in this platform. People are almost universally insane condemning Reddit for what they did, not just condemning Reddit for what they did, but also how this affects a lot of communities that Reddit doesn't really seem to care about, like people who are blind and dealing with accessibility issues on their website and their app. They just don't seem to care. This is one of those things that I don't think you do if you're actually making a lot of money. And while everybody here is talking about revenue, everybody in that thread was talking about the revenue that they bring in, we can't actually see their expenses. Reddit is a private company. We cannot see if they spend more money than they bring in, which many of these companies, let's be real, probably do. The reason that you don't see alternatives to platforms like Twitch that stick around as long or have the user base, or see alternatives to YouTube that, again, stick around as long and have the user base, is because what they're doing at its core, very good chance, doesn't make any financial sense. I think the real red pill here is that many of the platforms, many of the services, many of the products that we have become used to and accustomed to over the past 13 years were based on a business model that was never sustainable. And that over the next few years, we are going to have to come down off of this high of too much investor money sloshing around, allowing us to be able to take part in products and services that were never actually financially viable. I remember taking an Uber. I'm never going to forget this. Choosing to use Uber Pool in New York City to go home. Nobody else joined me for the ride, so even though I had chosen Uber Pool, I was in the car by myself. It took about 38 minutes for the guy to drive there, and it cost me $5.71. I was not paying for that cab ride. An investor somewhere was paying for that cab ride because it cost more money for him to drive me home. Like, there's no way a taxi driver in New York City spent about almost 40 minutes in a car and got paid $5.71. There are many business models that we have become accustomed to, that we are used to, that are part of our everyday lives, that were run by companies that didn't make any money, that were trying their best to be disruptive, to gain traction, to gain users in the hopes that somebody bigger would eventually buy them out, or that they'd be able to eventually monetize in some way. And now that interest rates are where they are, we are at the point where they're going to now try to do okay, we have this giant user base, how do we monetize it in some way? And that's going to be painful. And we're going to realize that many of these things never made sense to begin with. And there are a lot of people, there's an entire generation of people that are in their 20s that grew up with an internet that might have never actually been financially viable or sustainable. And that's going to be really interesting watching this stuff. And I think this is going to go very, very badly. You have these companies that never actually made money. They were focusing on gaining their users in the hope that someday they'd be able to monetize these users, and they're deciding to try and monetize their users at the exact same time that companies that were already making hand over fist profits are screwing their users. On this channel, every single day, I have content for a new video about some company that is turning something into a subscription service that you used to own, some company that is taking away your ability to repair what you own, some company that is serializing or pairing parts inside of a device so that you have to go back to the manufacturer to fix it rather than fix it yourself. Companies that were already profitable for decades, very well profitable, are looking for new and innovative ways to rob the consumer blind. And consumers are stressed about this. They have this heightened awareness. Consumers are acting like an abused animal that's sitting in a corner that is just going to everybody that walks by, expecting that somebody is going to try and hurt them. So when you have these companies come out and say, we haven't really made money for the past 10 years, we kind of have to start making money now, pay up. Even if they weren't making money hand over fist, consumers are just not having it. They're fed up, they're tired, they're at the ends of their rope, and they're not going to be understanding. If you want your consumers to be understanding as you take these actions, whether it is Reddit that is increasing their fees as much as they are, or Twitch deciding that they want to destroy the primary method that many of their larger creators use to make money, I think it's going to require a little bit of good faith on your part, where you come out and you say, I understand why people are pissed. I understand why people are on edge about this. Here is the situation we're in. Be honest about the situation you're in, and then present the garbage news. You're still going to get lambasted. You're still going to get ratioed. You're still going to get bad PR. But at the very least, you would have some chance of not looking like a complete and utter pile of garbage while doing it, and you may wind up with less people like me deciding that I am going to delete my entire instance off of your platform. Does that mean I am defending Twitch? No. Again, I deleted my account over a year ago, and I stick by my thumbnail for this video that I did 1 year ago. I am not going back to Twitch. And again, I don't care that I lost like $500 to $1,500 a month that I was getting from the time off of that website. It was worth it to give a middle finger to a website that treated a creator that I respect like complete and utter garbage. And also, again, if they are willing to treat people that have been regulars and good contributors to the platform in a really positive way for over a decade like garbage, what is that? How are they going to treat me later? Many of these companies are going to have to find new ways to actually make themselves sustainable. And if you want them to find ways to make themselves sustainable that are not sincerely damaging to you without any care for how this affects you, then I think more people are going to have to do what I did here and be open to deleting your account. Again, you can make a video about it, you can make a tweet about it, you can talk about it, you can yell at your partner manager, you can rant to your audience, but at the end of the day, the thing that is going to genuinely get them to reconsider and change is when somebody that has 1 million subscribers goes, you know what? Or 10 million or 100 million goes, you know what? I'm deleting your platform. I'm deleting an account on it, and I am never viewing something on it again. It's going to hurt. It's going to be seriously painful, but I hope more people do it. And, again, maybe more people will. Like, again, if me deleting my Twitch, I'm honest about it. Like, nobody gives a fuck. If somebody like Charlie got rid of his Twitch, I'm just saying, like, that would mean something. Something like, creators that people actually like, that have real followings, wind up leaving the platform, that will get them to perhaps reconsider into the future treating people like garbage. It's very likely that somebody higher up is going, listen, man, we cannot continue to run this garbage at a loss forever. Figure it the F out, or we're pulling the plug on it. And they're figuring, well, we could either piss off our users or piss off our users anyway when we no longer exist. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that these companies genuinely do make money and that they're just being greedy and want to make even more? Or do you think that these companies may have never actually made money the entire time, and the reason they're doing this is because the shit's hitting the fan, interest rates are almost 5 or 6%, they really need to start relying more on net profits rather than this imaginary, unlimited, bottomless well of investors' money? That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. And again, if you're watching this and you work at Twitch, just so you know, fuck you. I stand with Destiny. See you in the next video. Bye now.